All right, recording is started. All right, guys. So thanks for being curious about this topic because it made me curious too. And the idea of trying to get to the bottom of marketing and trying to get on as many stages that your heart and soul want to be on. I was like, shoot, we got to just kind of talk that through. So I wanted to just facilitate this and see if we can share, where we're stuck, share what we're trying to figure out, share our how do I's. And I think, it all starts from kind of where we are. And I'll start and then I'll just pass it to the next person. And then the next person has to pass it to the next person. But the first thing for me is where am I at right now in regard to the stages that I want to be on or the marketing that I'm doing or not doing. I'm doing nothing. Like I am doing nothing right now to let people know that I'm interested in speaking at their conferences. And let me restate. When I say nothing, it is so over the top as an answer because that's not really true. I am doing a few things because I've had some people send some requests to me and say, hey, do you know anybody who's a speaker for this? And, oh, would you be interested? So I'm answering inquiries, but I'm not actively doing a lot of marketing. So that's where I'm at right now. Where do I want to head to? I really want the kind of people that want to listen to what I'm talking about to reach out to me. Not saying that that's realistic or not, but that's what I would really like. I'd really like to have so much buzz that, people come to me, if it's through social media, if it's through a speakers bureau, if it's through, any other avenues. I don't want to be knocking on doors necessarily. And I know that it has to be done, but ideally that's where I would like to be. So right now, not doing a lot of work on a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 1. And a 10 looks like all of these, people coming to me more than me reaching out. I will pass it to Licky. So again, kind of where you're at and where you're trying to head.
Where I'm at is I've got, after undergrad, listening to Mike Ganino talk about sending out 60 requests a day. My VA has been doing that religiously for the last 10 days, and it's 10 a day is kind of her promise to me. And she's doing it. We're getting requests back saying, get us more information. And now the problem starts. They want speaker sheets, they want a video, they want all the bios and speaker reels. We have a little bit of that, not a whole lot. So now we're compiling good information to send back to these people. So that reaching out is working. People are interested. I've been doing this for the last year and a half. So I've been doing a lot of workshops. People know I'm a speaker. I've got engagements happening this month, quite a bit. Not quite a bit. I've got enough engagements happening. I want to do more. And my drawback right now is basically the assets that they're looking for aren't there because my keynote's not perfect. So I have a big keynote happening on the 21st and 22nd and 23rd of September up in Whistler. And it's a fairly large venue with large people. So I've got a videographer coming in there to record everything. And then we're going to do some cutting and editing out of that as well. So that's where I'm at right now. John, I hear you. I want to be the one. I know all the work has to be done right now, but I want people knocking on my door and saying, hey, we heard about you there. We want you more. So, but I know that's not going to happen realistically for a few years, but I just need to get out there. So that's me.
All right. So let me stop. I'm going to restate. And then when I restate, because I want to make sure that I heard what you said. It sounds like to me as a strategy for you to get on more stages, you're using a virtual assistant.
Yes.
And you set a goal of this number of contacts a day, which is 10 requests.
Yes. So it's exactly it. So my VA is doing all that for me. Yeah. My wife, who's helping me with all my assets.
Okay.
The other thing we are doing lots of is I do a lot of networking. A lot of my clients are large, like large banks, large IT providers that I do speaking for anyways. So I do a lot of networking to get in front of people.
All right, perfect. So by the end of this call, we'll all have a bunch of strategies that could become our own unique process. So that's what I'm trying to do is just draw out some great ideas that we could use. So a wife helping with the assets and then networking. I'm going to say one more thing that I think I heard, that you are trying to figure out how to design the right assets that get the check writers to write the checks.
Yeah, and that's where our biggest challenge right now is getting those assets right down, because the ones that we had done earlier this year, I think they're garbage, and we've paid a lot of money for them. They're garbage. So I need to find somebody or create something new.
So I will be willing to, I don't want to do hour things like this, but topically, I'd love to do another breakout like this to just talk about the assets, what's working, what's not working. Because I've got a lot of buddies of mine who do this for a living, and all I need to do is reach out to them. Because if we can do a better job of making it easier to develop the kind of assets that will get people to easily write checks to us, why not share the process? So that'll be another time, but not this time.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay.
So couple quick things. So can you say, John, who you're hoping your audience is that you want to speak to? Do you have that narrowed down?
No.
Okay. And Licky, so what also I would be totally up for is I have downloaded some speaker sheets of other people that I know are speaking. So I would be happy to share those. That's what I am asking my graphics person to use as kind of like here's a baseline of trying to understand what the content is that needs to be on there.
Mm-hmm.
But always happy to review material and or, kind of share. I think that the technical, where I can tend to get hung up is wanting to really understand like the technical aspect of, what kind of email are you initially sending? What's the follow-up then include? Because it sounds like I'm at a similar place as far as making sure I have all the assets. So I'm kind of also curious about the details on that.
That's perfect. So Dana, then that means that a breakout with Licky and I to just kind of spend 25 minutes on this, to share speaker sheets and anything else that we have would be perfect. Because this one, this is what this was for, is just to keep teasing out what we're trying to figure out. So that's great.
That's awesome.
All right, Licky, so you get to pass it.
Dana, might as well pass it off to you. It's perfect. Great segue.
Okay. So what I am doing, my goal is to come out with a 60-minute keynote at the end of HPS with a decent speaker reel. What I have right now are bits and pieces of me speaking. I don't really think I have enough content necessarily to put together a decent speaker reel, but I am also trying to have a videographer whenever I think I'm speaking where there might be something worthwhile to pull out. And so one of, I think I mentioned on our last call, one of the things I'm doing is at a minimum 2 times a month, but I'm actually trying to push for 4 times a month of trying to do some kind of speaking. And the bigger push for me would be doing these in person with live people. So I've done a few podcasts. Those work pretty well for me, but I am even conscientious of my language and how I'm delivering and where I can improve even on the podcast. But next week also, Licky, I have 2 dates that I'm speaking in person. I'm leading on the 19th, probably for about 13 people in a room, and then it's going to be zoomed out to people and recorded. I think up to like another few hundred that could potentially access it. And then on Saturday, I'm going to lead a 90-minute breakout on, it's like an implementation strategy session. So almost more like it's more like a mini workshop. So I'm trying to force myself into those situations so that I can get more and more comfortable, which is a little bit of a challenge because it's kind of like different content than what the keynote is. So I'm trying to be very conscientious of like some pieces that I might be able to pull or stories that can feed into my content for the workshop, but really more of what they're getting is an overview of what is this thing that I teach.
So Dana, quick clarification. So we're talking about the marketing and trying to get on more stages. So if I hear you correctly, you're going to be on more stages, which are going to give you an opportunity for people to ask for you to speak more. You're going to keep being in podcasts so people can pay attention to you and ask you to speak more. And then also you're going to have video content that's going to be recorded that you could use to market. Is that what you're thinking about, how you're going to get on more stages? Because that's more where the call is versus content.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes. And right now that's kind of where I'm at too, in understanding what people are asking for when I send the information out. And so because one of my goals would be to have a company hire me either to come in to teach a workshop, or if I was at a conference teaching a workshop, I'm realizing that yes, there are assets that you need to have. I've got a graphics person sort of working on that right now. And then also, as I've been making requests for speaking, for podcasting or for speaking in person, really what I'm finding I need to do, like Licky, I need to figure out who I'm going after to pursue. And am I going to do that? Am I going to hire a VA to do that? And who are those best audiences?
That's perfect. So I'm going to restate the strategies again, new strategies. Speaking in venues, I mean, like that is the best marketing in general, is the more speaking that you do and the more people you tell. The podcast, the using the video content from the speaker, and doing the research, like downloading speaker sheets to figure out like what the assets are. Mm-hmm. What I'm hearing as an easier to, like this, when I heard Licky say he'd like to make it easier to design the assets that will get checks written easier. The one that I hear from you is easier to get the companies to hire you. Is that what you're trying to get to the bottom of, is figuring out how to make it easier for that? Okay, cool.
Ultimately, because what I'm trying to leverage is the book that I have in either getting speaking engagements or even potentially trying to start making some sales in bulk with the book.
So I like that. I'll add that as another strategy for anybody that's listening, is that it's about using the book as well as marketing. So there's a bunch of tactics that you could use to attract the kind of stages you want to be on.
Yeah. And I'll just say real quick, and we can move on, and I'll say, Martha, you can go next, but a little bit contrary to what Mike had said about, these people don't want to get your book, because my book also has a workbook, a companion guide that goes with it, which is what I actually lead people through in the workshop. I have found that when I actually send that has had a huge return for me in bigger podcasts being willing to have me on, even though I don't, building a following is a whole other topic. But the other thing is I've been able to get some fully paid magazine features that I didn't pay for. They ended up featuring me, which I think is it's just another marketing promotion side, but they're all kind of tied together because I'm sending out similar information.
Perfect. All right. Who'd you pass it to?
Martha.
Okay. So I have done some speaking first, my audience is service business owners and managers. And I want to eventually expand into business owners and managers, you know, not necessarily just service businesses, but my talk is about employees and culture, that type of thing. So anyway, through my software that I own, which is tied to the service business, I have had the opportunity to speak at different industry conferences. And that's really when I discovered that I liked it and wanted to get better at it, because I knew I knew that while I didn't bomb, I could do a lot better. But here's what I've found is I've reached out to, and mind you, this was probably 6 months ago, so I'm not going to try to lie and say that I've just recently done this. When I reached out to multiple service business conference contacts, you know, it was kind of a shutdown in that, oh, we've already booked people, it seems like they want you to reach out a good year in advance. And I don't know if that's accurate or not. You know, maybe it's a shutdown because it's like, I don't know who the hell you are, and no, we're not interested, or that they literally have booked their speakers. I did try to hire a VA again months and months ago when I didn't feel like I was successful at it, because I recognized this problem with me pitching myself. And that was a disaster. I mean, you know, it was a VA that I couldn't lead her well, and she didn't, that was useless for me. But I know some of that was I didn't clarify well enough what she needed to do, and she just didn't have the skills to do it, I don't think. But I don't have any assets. And that's another thing that's holding me back from even going after these things, because if they come back to me and say, all right, we need this, this, and this, I don't have any of that. I will be speaking in front of an audience of about 300 in Las Vegas, but not till mid-November. And, you know, I've considered having somebody come and videotape and edit it and do all that. But then, you know, a few weeks later, we're going to do that at HPS. So that's where I'm at. And where I'd like to be is I would like to be averaging at least 2 paid speaking engagements per month. And I am okay with right now. I'm okay with even doing some for free, although I'm thinking, you know, it's not going to be for free. I have to pay for the lodging and so forth, because I do sell indirectly from those things. When I speak, I get people interested in my software, and then I also have an online course. So that's where I'm at.
Perfect. All right. So 3 things I heard that you're doing or have done probably a longer time ago. The conference contacts, like meaning you've reached out to conference contacts. Mm-hmm. You've used the virtual assistant. Mm-hmm. You are investing in yourself. And what I'm seeing as a theme, because Licky, I'm looking at Licky's website, and he's invested in himself, because I'm seeing the video, I'm seeing the photographs, and I think Dana already does this as well, is when you're speaking, yes, get someone to record it. Yes, get someone to take pictures of it. Because I know when I've spoken, and I haven't spoken that much, but when I've spoken and the pictures that were used, they were worth more than, if I said a picture's worth 1,000 words, they were worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, just those pictures. and it gave me credibility instantly. So take when you think of your how do I get the most out of this engagement that I'm about to do with 300 people in the room? How do I get the most out of it? That could be your prompt by the next time we talk or while we see each other. Just figure that one out, because you got a great opportunity to speak in front of 300 people. So that'll help your marketing for sure. So here's what I heard from you as an easier to, because as for Licky, it was easier to design assets. As for Dana, it was easier to get the companies to hire. The easier I hear is easier to reach the kind of conferences that I want to speak at. Like that's the easier that I hear when you are talking about wanting to get 2 engagements per month. So, and you have the common challenge that we all have is figuring out the assets that we need to create. So that's why I think a breakout, and I'm going to try to keep these for less than 40 minutes because I never do anything more than 40 minutes. I don't know why it showed an hour, but I want to keep these to 40 minutes because I tap out. I've proven myself as a consultant. I don't have any calls that are more than 30 minutes. So when you start seeing me fade out, that's why that is. So did I get that right? Did I get, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, we know who's last, but not least.
Gwen.
Okay, so when you talked about, where are you from, 1 to 10, I'm at 0. Because technically I haven't done any of specific keynoting at all. I've done lots of speaking. I do tons of workshops in an area that I do not want to be doing anymore at all. I'm well known there, but it's a very, very low pay environment. But I am well respected as a speaker any place that I go. A lot of my speaking has been doing pulpit supply, and it's a little scary when practically every church I walk into, they say, "Wow, you're better than any pastor we've ever had." And it's like, that is not what I actually want my answer to be. So my marketing issue that I actually had was this kind of big thought that is, you're all going to roll your eyes and you're like, well, duh, was that the speaker reel that we're working toward in December probably really should be about the thing that I think I'm going to get paid for. And I know that seems terribly obvious, but what I started doing was listening to the speaker reels that were popping up on the HPS site. And there were some that it was like, okay, I would know if I was an event planner that I should hire you, whoever the person was, because you're solving this problem. But there were several that were like, yeah, you're a nice speaker, but I don't really know what you're going to talk about. And or I'm not exactly sure, I may know your topic, but I'm not sure who would ever hire you, for that. And so this has got me a little flipped on my head at this point, because I realized that the speech that I was actually working on, 2 weeks ago is the speech that I probably won't get paid for. And I've got a breakout that I would get paid for, and I have another topic that I'm pretty sure I can get paid for. So now I'm kind of working through those pieces. So like I said, I'm really at 0. What I want is the same thing that you want, John. I want to be referred. Mm-hmm. That's really where I want to go. I am a strong networker. I get so many people work in so many areas because I just pay attention to that, and it's been my mode. I am a connector. I connect people all the time. I always worry about it because it seems like I connect a lot more people than people connect me. And I think it's because they think since I'm connecting so many people, I don't need to be connected. It's like, no, I need connections. I need connections too. So it's one of the things that I appreciate about HPS is that we really build relationships so that we can connect one another. So to me, that's part of my marketing strategy, is to really understand all of you. Well, maybe not everybody, but like this group, I feel like I can understand. But a chunk of the group, so that I can help connect them, and in turn they can help connect me. And I have also zero real marketing materials at this point. So the marketing materials, but it's partly because I have not yet really gotten on the stages. The piece that I think is the most sellable, I have done workshops on, and I have amazing reviews on. But they tend to be smaller workshops, and so I haven't invested in getting video or whatnot because they don't necessarily look that impressive. They're rooms of 13 people or 10 people, or because they're departmental workshops, and so they're not on the big stage, kind of a thing. So those are kind of where my pieces are. My ultimate goal really is to do this as close to full-time as is reasonable. They talk about sometimes the folks that are doing 100 speeches a year. That does not freak me out, where a lot of people are like, oh my god, I can never imagine traveling that much. That doesn't even begin to phase me. It's just my husband and the dog, and I always say I think my husband's glad that I'm gone a lot. So so that's kind of where my bigger, my long-term goal is. I have a realistic expectation that that's going to take several years to get there. And to kind of answer Martha's question, because I have actually coordinated some fairly big association events. I was an interim executive director for a short period of time. They really do book a year out, typically. So I know that to get on those stages, it's gonna take that time. And I do have some connections with associations. With an association management company that manages a lot of the associations. So I'm pretty sure once I get my materials, because I talked to one of the gals that I have a close relationship, it's like, as soon as you get the speaker reel, let me know, kind of a thing. And so so I feel like I'm a little bit on hold until I get there, thinking that's a December, January kind of time frame. But that's where I am. Did I answer all the questions, John?
Yeah, you did. Trust me, I'm really trying harder to be easier going, so you don't have to follow those questions like totally to what they are. So here's what
they were good questions.
Perfect. All right, good. Thank you for that. So here's what I heard as strategies. One, to be a connector. You are a connector. I'm a connector. That's what this is. I love doing this. This is what I do for a living, just in general. So this is fun. Asking for connections. That's what I heard is another strategy, is like flat out ask for connections. And then the last strategy is leverage what I already have. Like whatever might be marketing, when you have some constraining beliefs that I love, because I like to switch those. Like one, who cares that it's 15 people in a room? If I were having a dinner, and you can't really see this 4-person table, but if I were inviting 15 people and 6 showed up, I'd be happy. So 15 people is amazing dinner. You had 15 people that were consuming you. So use that, whatever the pictures are, whatever the stories are, leverage what you already have. And then here's what I heard as you're easier to get the most out of the speaker reel. You and I are in the same space. Is like, I have not really figured out what I'm talking about yet. I just told Licky that. But here's what I do know. I know that there's so many stories inside me that I can't wait to tell. I just don't know who it is, where it's going to be, and make money. Make money is part of all of the currency. It's being life-changing. it's life enhancing, it's nods, it's laughter, it's all these other things that are currency to me too, plus money. And I literally have a list. I'm not going to show you guys because it's kind of ADD or whatever it is, kind of type A, but I have like 20 things that are power to me. And yes, currency, energy, proof, confidence, purpose, possibilities, thank yous, affection, you name it. So as you look at wanting to do this full time, make money plus all that other power, because life changing is that's what I still like. That's
well, and that's why the one that I'm seeing that actually is sellable and that I've been able to sell, that's the thing that happens. Yeah. Is the folks that do it, they talk about like the next day I applied it, I could see how it was making a difference in my business and my relationship with these people, and it was like, that's what I want. The other one is deep and emotional and whatnot, but it's one of those that people have to be in the right space to hear it, where the other is a much more pragmatic, practical, oh my gosh, I can see how I can use this tomorrow.
Yeah. No. So what I really wanted to do is start a conversation, get us thinking about marketing, and start sharing some strategies, which is what happened. Now, from here, yes, Licky, I want to do a breakout on the assets, because just to get talking, sharing strategies, sharing resources, making this easier. So I'll throw something out there probably after we get back to dig in that, or maybe if we have a breakout there face to face, who knows? I don't know how this time is. So that's one that's a big deal. I love the idea of how to get companies to hire you as a conversation. I love the idea of how to get conferences, association, and business owners to hire you. So maybe that's all one conversation. So maybe we could have a breakout with that one. And then the speaker reel, Gwen, I really just did this for the speaker reel. I hate that people will be like, oh, well, why did you do that for the speaker reel? And
that was a huge one for me as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a chicken and egg scenario, man.
It is. And I say that because I did a silly 5-minute talk at Ignite, and I'd never spoken before, and they recorded it. And that recording has gotten me so much credibility, and I never practiced. I winged it, and it's so bad. It's my bad version of speaking, but it still worked. And it was professional. So it's professional pictures, professional videos. So I'm with you. I'd love to have a sidebar on how we get the most out of the speaker reel, especially if we don't really have our topic. I have a fundamental belief that people will like me on whatever my topic is, and they'll hire me for other things. They'll be curious enough to say, well, wait, what else do you do? And this is what I do. So I'm not really trying to use that speaker reel as business development. I'm using it as likability development, to like me, because that's how I've always gotten hired. If you like me, then you'll want to work with me. So, but yeah, we can have that breakout.
Yeah, you and I can grab it during a break and talk more about that.
Yeah. So around the room, because I know it looks like, who just joined?
Oh, Licky dropped and then joined again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Manon.
Oh, is Manon on here?
Yeah, I just see somebody else drop.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm here.
All right, Manon. So here's the what we're going through. One, just where you're at with marketing. It's like what's your current position? What are you doing, not doing, on a scale of 1 to 10, meaning 10 being lots of effort. And then what is it that you really want? Where do you want to be? And that's been the check-in for the first 40 minutes. And then after that, guys, what I'll do is share the recording. Dana, I'll have to ask you how to do this on Facebook, because I've never done this, and share it in the group. And then I'll share some of the notes that I took, because, yeah, you guys have watched me ever. I take these crazy notes. So I'll share the 20 tips that I collected from this conversation in that post. But to finish us off, Manon, where are you at with marketing? Like, what are you trying to get to the bottom of? And then where are you going?
Okay. So I guess I have two platforms, which has been a bit complicated. Is one, I train healthcare practitioners. So on that level, I'm trying to get visibility for the college I run. And on the other level, I'm trying to get just visibility for the public on options they can have with pain. So it's like two different platforms, and I'm hoping that the speaking will reach more the public, because I'm already on professional platforms which are not highly advertised. They're more, continuing education based, and they're more sort of insular. So I'm I'm just learning how to figure out how to do all this stuff. I have people helping me with social media, and I'm joining summits, and whoever invites me at this point. I'm doing a podcast pitch next week in San Diego, which is sort of aimed at my new book. And this talk, which I'm hoping to turn into a TEDx talk, is sort of aligned with that vision. But as far as direct what I'm doing for marketing, it's just I'm trying to stay consistent and visible on social media. That's about it. I have not done any big outreaches yet, or I've not started any of that stuff yet.
Perfect. So what I heard as another strategy to get on the stages that you really want to be on is using social media. What does that mean? I don't know specifically. What are you? What
okay.
is?
So
doing?
I mean, what I understand from the the trying to get this book out, it sort of started with this. They look to see how engaged you are in social media, and I have a following of over 10,000 now. And so they're looking to see how many copies they can sell and how active you are. So it's basically, you have to prove to them that you are marketable. And that's what they're looking at. Like, this is for in the book industry. And so that's what I'm amping up now to show that part. So it's showing, and active means responding to people, posting things that are relevant and interesting. So it's really paying attention to that, which is not at all my nature. I really don't get on social media. I'm really using it as a strategy. I do have a Facebook account. There's nothing personal about it. So it's just all business, and I think that's what I mean by that. And I don't know for speaking how relevant that is, but I would imagine it is.
Yeah, I too imagine that. So your easier to sounds to me is that you want it to be easier to enroll and engage your audience of your 10,000 followers. And the better that you are at enrolling and engaging, meaning getting them to buy the book, getting them to talk about it, getting them to talk about you, then the easier it will be for you to get on stage. Is that a fair belief?
Yep, that is definitely, because I basically started both projects simultaneously.
Perfect. So I captured that, and the recording, you should absolutely listen to this recording.
I'd love to. I had an appointment, so that's why I'm late. But yes.
Yeah. No worries. I booked it for an hour. I really have like 40 minutes in me in life, so we're right at that time. But yeah, just listen to the recording. You'll get at least 15 other great tips from everybody on the call, and then you'll get to understand what everybody else's easier to is. Like, meaning, what are they trying to get to the bottom of? And the beauty, everybody's easier to is everybody else is easier to, because every one of those is relevant. So we're going to have, unfortunately, you won't be there. You're right. You're not going to be there this weekend, right?
No, that's the thing. I'm gone for big parts of this term or term.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I say that because there's natural breakouts that are happening based on what we're trying to get to the bottom of. And so we may have some face-to-face breakouts, but I'll make sure to include you on any of the virtual breakouts like this, because it's going to be valuable.
No, that's great.
So,
Yep.
Okay. All right, guys. So I traditionally close out conversations with a one-word close, and then I pass it. So my one-word close is relieved, and I'll pass it to Gwen.
Mine is connection. And I will pass it to Martha.
Mine is strategize. Oh, I'm sorry, Dana.
And Dana's on mute, so that's her word.
Dana's word is unmute.
Action is my word. Go ahead, Licky.
Possibilities. Manon?
Excited.
Awesome.
Sweet. All right, guys. Well, for those that I will see this weekend, can't wait to see you. And then for Manon, we'll see you next time virtually.
Okay. Good luck,
Bye.
everyone. Have fun.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.